Hey everybody, Brandon here from the Vancouver Pups, here with another workshop, and this should be a short workshop, but I was going to be doing a technique today that I thought was worth showing. When I first started the Vancouver Pups, I purchased a whole roll of orange fabric so that I would have consistency. You know, I knew that I wanted all of my Okos to look the same. So consistency was important to me, so I got a whole roll of fabric. But I just recently actually made a post on my Instagram showing that I just recently cut up the last 3 meters or so, about 3 or 3.5 meters of orange faux fur that I had originally bought in order to make Okos. And I had just enough to cut out another 3, but those are all been sort of reserved for future projects. But yeah, there's still a few other Okos that I wanted to work on. So I don't have any fabric. I didn't have any more fur. So I decided to go to my local fabric store, and I looked at their orange fur, and what I was able to find was close, but not quite the same. This is a little longer. The color's exact, but the fur is a little bit longer. It's about double the length of Oko. But that's not that big of a deal. What I'm planning on doing with this then, I was only able to I took what was on the roll. It was about I think it was 2.2 meters or something like that. But I'm going to be cutting out at least 2 sets of pattern pieces for an Oko out of this, and what we're going to be doing is texturizing this fur in different ways. Yeah, because there's some other Okos that I want to make which where the fur can look a little different. In particular, there's one that I really want to work on where I want him actually to look quite ratty and disheveled. And so I really want to texturize the fleece a lot. And I did a sample piece here. And this is what we're going to take a quick look at. But this is basically how I'm going to show you guys how I got this texture from this, which is a nice straight long-haired fur, whereas Oko's fur is short-haired. This is sort of a long hair. But I was able to create this sort of texture by boiling the fur. So that's what we're going to be doing. So the first thing, I also did a little test on the back. I wrote here, test marker. I just wanted to see if using a black Sharpie marker would stay on after the boiling, because it's boiled for about 20 minutes, and it did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw on the back the pattern pieces for a full set. We're going to cut that out, and then we're going to boil it for 20 minutes to get this look. So I'll start that now. All right, so here's another thing that you can do with fleece if you want to change the texture of it. And in particular, what I want to do is make it shorter, because like I said, this fur is a little bit longer than the usual fur of Oko. And you can do that really well with one of these. Now, I showed sort of how I did this, sort of used one of these for the first time in the Adam episode. So now I'm going to do it again. And I have the guard, the longest guard that I have, which I think is 12 millimeters, which I think should be good. So I'm going to just see if I can... see if I can shorten this fur. It can be a good idea to have like a little vacuum handy when you're doing this. It's going to be messy, and if you're doing a lot of this, I would also recommend wearing a mask. I'm just doing a little bit, so I'm not wearing a mask right now, but I do have one. I'm almost done this piece. I don't know, I might have to go shorter. Let's just see here. All right, let's see how we're doing here. That looks pretty good. So let's just kind of compare. Here is an example. I know this is kind of hard to see. The length is about... It is a little bit of a darker orange, huh? But in terms of the length, I think that's pretty good. That feeling pretty comparable to me. So yeah, so that's nice. So I like that. So that's good. Yeah, so that works really, really well. So if you can invest in one of these hair buzzer trimmer things, I'm not quite sure what the proper word for these are, but yeah, it could be a good investment if you want to manipulate and work with fur and, yeah, alter the texture. I'm going to keep on trimming away at this. Since this was such a great success, I'm just going to keep on going, keep on working here, and keep on trimming away at this fur. Get it to a nice, short pile. All right, so I got the pieces here. I cut the entire piece into 2 pieces because I realized I didn't have a big enough pot to do this all in one piece. So I was going to do it in 2 batches. So I think I'm just going to hold the camera for this. Okay, so the water's boiling. Here's our pot, and I'm just going to stick... Oops. I'm just going to start sticking this in. You can use a wooden spoon. I'm using these tongs. Oof. I might have overfilled it a bit. Let's see. It's okay. Okay, good. So there we go. So I'm gonna keep agitating this. Basically, you're gonna leave it in here, and it's gonna cook for a total of 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this cook in the boiling water for 20 minutes, and I'm gonna keep on stirring it because I don't want it to like stick to the bottom, or it might melt. And yeah, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but this will this is a synthetic fur. Obviously, this is how you can manipulate synthetic furs. I do not think this would work on real fur, so don't try and do this with a piece of with a fur skin or like a human hair wig or something like that, 'cause I don't think that would work. But basically, the polyester fibers of the fur have memory, and we're breaking those bonds by heating them to a certain temperature. But it takes a while. Yeah, I might add a little more water to this just to make sure. It's pretty well covered, actually. I'm pretty happy with this. So yeah, so we're doing pretty good here. So like I said, let this sit for a little bit and simmer. And keep on moving it around a little bit every few minutes at least for a total of 20 minutes. And then I'll show you what we do next. All right, so this is almost done, 20 minutes. So what I'm going to be doing is I can't do this with just one hand, so I'm going to have to put the camera down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking this out after 20 minutes. I'm going to be twisting this around and winding it up on these like a noodle and just placing it here where I'll just, and then I'll turn the heat off. And then I'll place that here. Then I'll be putting on gloves. I'll be putting on rubber gloves and then taking that outside where the next step will be. But I'm going to have the camera set up for when we're taking this out. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll meet you guys when we're outside with this and we're safely ready to handle it. All right, so I hope this is showing up, but here it is. See, rolled up here. I got my gloves on, so what I'm gonna do is, I don't normally film outside, so I hope this all shows up. So I'm gonna carefully unroll this, and then we're gonna sort of shake it. All right, now it's starting to get the texture that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna keep on shaking this, and then we're gonna let this just air dry out here. All right, so here we go, guys. Here's sort of, it's not complete, obviously. I have all the little minor details, but I just wanted to basically show how the fur turned out. See how mangy and knotty and just like ratty it looks, which is perfect. Exactly what I wanted. So there we are. So that's sort of how it looked. I wanted an Oko that was going to look really, really horrible. And he does. So that's perfect. So yeah, it's an interesting way to texture fur by using a boiling technique. If you want to get fur that looks sort of like this, then that's what you do. All right, so thanks for tuning in to this workshop, everybody. If you like what you've seen, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Brandon from the Vancouver Pups, and this is Oko, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye for now.